Another thing that is a negative side effect, and this is the second point in our philosophical experience here, and this has been the hardest one for me to struggle with, and I'm seeing a lot of teachers struggle with it too. We spend a lot of our time working deeply with kids, getting to know kids, getting to be allies for kids. And yet we don't get the same level of personal interaction that we have with our kids in a face to face setting. We don't get a quick synopsis or a quick view of a student's interpersonal cues. We are going to have to struggle to forge relationships with kids. Special ed teachers, God bless you, but that personal touch that you get with kids, and by the way, that personal touch idea, that was what was one of my drivers as a classroom teacher. I want to get to know the kids. I want to experience them one on one. I want to be able to develop a relationship, a strong relationship with those kids. And so, this lack of personal interaction that we're going to face is really, really tough. And so, we are going to have to find ways of doing that in a online virtual environment. Now, with that, we need to, and this leads into point three of the philosophical changes. We need to now find ways of empathy, of emotional well being, and we need to make that a conscientious effort. Okay? And, some of us, dare I say, are just charismatic enough that we can forge that relationship with kids. I think of one of the people that I follow on Facebook. She's an elementary teacher, Kansas Teacher of the Year candidate, might be a student in this class. I look at her, and she is a bundle of energy. And she's one of those folks that I wish my kids could have as a teacher because she goes the extra mile for kids. She does things, she takes risks in the classroom, and she forges that relationship with children. Those kids would run through a brick wall for her. And where she might have been able to naturally plan content lessons and say, all right, here's where I'm going to be able to work with a kid, work with a kid, work with a kid, work with a kid. Well, now we're going to have to change our mindset here and conscientiously plan within our lesson plans, how can I be empathetic with kids? How can I forge that relationship with them? How can I check on their emotional quotient, their EQ, not their IQ? And so that's another thing that we're going to have to look at with our philosophical bent here. And with that, we're going to have to, point four, allow students into our home. And I know you're going, what? Well, if we're stuck here in my bunker to teach kids, I'm going to have to let them know me even greater than what I have before. Excuse me. For instance, I might have to show them, hey, yesterday, my kids and I here at the house, we played King of Tokyo. That's what this purple box is back on the wall. I love playing games. Welcome to my house. Here's I'm teaching the summer STEM camp as well. I was recording a video on probability and odds. We were going through a little activity, rolling dice, saying, "All right, I have two four-sided dice. You have one eight-sided dice. Whoever rolls lower each time gets a point." what's the result? What would be the advantage? Well, while I'm doing this, Sam walks in, my 4-year-old. And so I have to pull him in here beside me, and I go, "Hi, everyone. This is Sam. Sam, say hi. Hi. How you doing?" And I worked him into the discussion. So even more than what we normally do, we're going to have to let him inside our walls and find ways of making that a betterment to education. And I think that offers opportunities for us that taking the kids away from us, we need to pull them back in here to our room, into our house, into our lives, and let them be a part of it. And so I think that's going to be a huge, huge advantage for us. Point 5, philosophical change. We're going to have a greater team commitment with administrators, with teaching teams, with advisors, counselors, to ensure the academic, the social, and technological well-being of our students. We're going to have to put them into an environment where they can be successful. And it's going to take a massive logistical framework on our part to make sure this works. If you get anything out of what I share with you over these six and a half modules, I hope that you take the time to consider logistically, how do we reach kids? And what do kids need to be successful, and how do we do that? Then finally, this last philosophical change deals 100% with you. The teacher's going to be stressed more than ever. I've seen great teachers work even harder virtually than they did face to face. With that, you've got to take better care of yourself. And so that's one thing that we're going to be looking at is teacher well-being. So with that in mind, I'm going to pause the video here, and as I upload them to the delivery that you're going to see, this will be part 1. We'll come back with part 2 in a second, pedagogical changes, and then how do we change as teachers? See you in a sec.